Hi. I am well aware I look like a drowned rat. I was bringing you stuff in from the car, and it's raining here. Okay, I have some profound thoughts. I think they're profound. Um, and I'm going to share them. And I would love, oh, son of a gun, look at all the fake copies of my book. Fake, fake. Look at this. These are both fake. These are fakes. Autism Out Loud workbook. Son of a little brats. People make fake books on Amazon and try and trick people into buying them. So it'll say like Autism Out Loud workbook or Forever Boy workbook, and we can't get them taken down. Okay. Hi, everyone. How was your Easter? 3 deep thoughts post RFK from a mom. Quiet. Hi, Marilyn. We actually celebrated Easter mostly yesterday. We had dinner at my parents' house. We were staying in Wisconsin and then came home this morning. And there is this really cute thing where I live called Egg My Yard. And it's this Hastings swim team. It's a local swim team. And you pay a fee and they'll come decorate, like dump eggs everywhere in your yard. So I did that. I'm just going to post this real quick. And then I came home early with Cooper and put the baskets out and hid the baskets because Coop, he can like, there we go. It was interesting. So Cooper's 14 and he has a diagnosis of, on paper, it's severe nonverbal autism. And at 14, this was the first year he's ever asked for an Easter basket, which was freaking awesome. Although he asked me probably non-verbally 12,000 times, and you're like, Kate, you're exaggerating. And I'm like, maybe it was 15,000. I'm telling you, no one has ever asked for an Easter basket as much as Cooper Swenson, but I don't mind. I'm no saint. I mean, I get exhausted. I'm like, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful when I get glimpses of these moments. And so this is what's funny about Cooper. So I came home and I hid the Easter baskets, but I just set his mostly out in the open because he's never cared. B, he's never looked for one. And so the other 3 kids rode home with my husband and they came in. They're like, did the bunny come? And I was like, oh, the bunny came. And Cooper was like, right there. And so Winnie's was on the couch. She found hers. And then I put the other 3 boys upstairs. And Harbor and Sawyer like went trucking upstairs. And Cooper was like, E? And I was like, there is one for you. There is an Easter basket for you. Of course there is. Every year he's had an Easter basket. So he goes up and his is probably had, I went to Savers and then ordered off of, which is like a Goodwill, and then an eBay. And I got him, I would say he had like 12 used DVDs. Before someone comments on the price, they're $1 a piece. I mean, and so Dora DVDs, Curious George, Elmo, Barney, that's his jam. And then I got him some Train ones too. And so he sat down, he was like, oh. And every holiday, I guess Christmas and his birthday, he immediately puts everything away. So immediately. So he scooped it up. I had put a VHS tape in there. He has a VHS player of some Zoo movie, which I thought he would actually like. and a couple books, and he pushed those to the side. He doesn't give it, if he doesn't want it, he's like, what's this? Carry the stuff down. So I went and watched the other kids. And then I went and checked on him, and he was taking the DVDs out of the cases, and he stacks the cases, and he puts the DVDs in this like basket. It's overflowing. And it's to this point just like a collection. He likes to look at the DVDs, line them up. He's very organized. He keeps them very clean. We do not have an aesthetically beautiful home, so we don't care, and we're happy he's happy. I wish he'd watch them. I also wish he wouldn't wreck them, so at someday I could sell like 500 Thomas the Train vintage DVDs. That would be nice. But alas, he is happy. I don't know what he did with all the treats. He's not really a big treat guy, and I'm sure another mom or dad or grandparent can nod, say me too, or, say if this is your child. He wants the present, but there's nothing he really wants, if that makes sense. So I put candy in there, but he won't eat it. But he wants it, I think, just so it's like a volume thing. Jessica, I did not get his cookies. I totally forgot. I forgot his cookies and Sawyer's ramen. Sawyer asked for ramen. I forgot both. And Cooper's a pretty laid back guy, so he didn't mind. But then he just came up to me and he had me write something. And so when he wants me to write, he types it on his phone, and then he shows me the screen, and then I write it. And it said, I can remember it, North Pole, Santa Claus, December 25th, Christmas presents. And so I wrote that down, and then he typed something, and he looked at me, and it said 10 cookies. And I was like, are you busting me for not putting them in your Easter basket? And he was like, he's got a lot of personality. He's like, you totally forgot my cookies. But he didn't mind. He's a pretty laid back guy. But this is a totally random thing, and I hope you guys realize how big this is. Cooper, just quickly before I hop into my topic, Cooper's my firstborn. We introduced all foods to Cooper just like every other parent does. He had breast milk, and then he had cow's milk, and then baby food, and then, all the things. We did it all. And at 18 months, like on the dot, he stopped eating foods. And unless you see it, you totally wouldn't believe it. Like, I wouldn't believe you if I didn't know it. I mean, one day we had, scrambled eggs, and I'm making this up, scrambled eggs, and then spaghetti and peas and everything. And, eating it. And the next day he wouldn't eat anything. And his diet got down to 5 foods. And so they call it the beige diet a lot in the autism world. And I share about these vitamins, and I get so much crap. Like, these moms are like, why don't you just feed him veggies? You can laugh at that. And I'm like, do you really think that I haven't killed myself trying to feed this child vegetables? And so he got down, he just ate Cheerios, goldfish, chicken nuggets, hot dogs. It was like 5 foods. Sometimes, I think at one point he got down to even 4 foods. It was very scary. And he's 14 now. He's a teen. And so we ordered Chinese food for dinner. And so good. It was so good. Fun fact, my favorite food is hot and sour soup. Fun fact. And so we ordered a bunch of Chinese food. And Cooper very rarely, if ever, eats what we eat. He does eat, spaghetti, lasagna, peanut butter toast. He's expanded his diet a little bit. So spaghetti, you're gonna get me, aren't you, Brad? I know you're gonna keep doing that over and over again. Yeah, gotcha, Brad. And so He's come a long way, but still like very limited diet. And this sounds really funny, but we ordered chicken wings from a Chinese restaurant for Sawyer and Harbor. They asked for them, just like fried chicken wings. And Cooper walked in and he was like, and he pointed to the chicken wing. And like Jamie and I were like, if you have a kid who doesn't ever try foods, just trust me. And we were like, Jamie. He's like, Kate. And Cooper picked up the chicken wing and he was like, and I was like, it's chicken. And he was like, And he took like 2 bites of it. I could not believe it. It's an Easter miracle. Like I cannot believe that like that he did that. And I know there's like every parent out there totally understands. Cooper has really come a long way in the last couple of years. He didn't eat the whole chicken wing, but he ate a chicken wing. I mean, the other day he asked me for lasagna and we were eating it. And I was like, you don't want to spook them. Like, you don't want to make a big deal out of it. You're like, sure. Like, because it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal. So, it was a hard autism day. I'm not going to lie. That used to give me a lot of trouble, but it was a hard autism day. Cooper has a lot of, and he's a lot of OCD and a lot of anxiety. I think he's getting sick with a cold, so that probably is exasperating it. But I put this in my supporter group. I have a supporter group on Facebook and YouTube, and I share a lot more over there. And I just shared today, I really try to share the positives of this journey. I really do. I think there's enough negative, and I try so hard to just share glimpses of hope and joy. And today about broke me. I make jokes and I laugh about things, but Cooper's OCD and anxiety, it just overtakes our home sometimes. And so he gets in these, I don't know the right words. So moods or moments or periods of time where there can't be anything in the room but the couch. And so you're watching him and he will move everything out of the room. Like, so just imagine this, like, just be me for a second. I'm like cooking dinner and I see Cooper sitting on the couch. And then all of a sudden he gets up and he moves the end tables to a corner. He moves the ottoman to a corner, the lamps, the rug, the throw pillows, everything you could possibly imagine. And I really am as positive as I appear. If you know me in real life, you know that. But there's just moments where it just like broke me today. I just, I was like, leave my rugs alone. Leave my rugs alone. I can't take it. And I'm talking like an 8x10, like an 8x10 rug. And so then I went down. Terry, it just hit him today. So it's definitely exasperated because he's sick, but he has a really bad runny nose. And so he's probably sneezed 100 times. But I went down to his, the room that he shares with Sawyer at our cabin, and there's a rug in there. Like it's a big rug, and it was gone. We couldn't find it. This cabin's like the size of a matchbox. And I was like, Jamie, where's the bedroom rug? And he's like, I have been looking for that damn thing. And I was like, he hides things. I know that sounds so ridiculous. You're like, Kate, you're ridiculous. It's exhausting. I'm like, I cannot find my rugs. Is it Dia? He keeps his treasures very clean. Very clean. So no, he may move the pile, but he keeps the pile very clean. So it was a tough day. I almost broke down. So holidays are hard. I think we can say that holidays are hard. Okay, so there's 3 things I want to tell you, and this is pretty brave for me. I don't talk a lot about anything even remotely politically related. I just don't. But but I'm not actually going to talk about politics. I'm going to talk about just 3 takeaways I've had since autism has been in the news. And so this book, our book, is doing so amazing. It just came out April 1st. It's touching so many people. And I really do believe it's staying relevant longer than it would have because of autism in the news. And I think the conversation's being started. So that is awesome. And the first takeaway that I want to tell you, I have 3 things and I have notes. The first thing is, and subscribers, I shared this with you this morning, so I'm apologizing for resharing, but yesterday we went to an Easter egg hunt. It was Cooper's first ever Easter egg hunt. He did not hunt for eggs, but he was there and he made it the whole time that it was cold, it was windy, he was scared of the bunny, the person, and he did so good. And that's what I'm thankful for these days, is moments where we can all be as a family. That's really my happiest moments are when we're together, because it's hard. It doesn't always happen. And so, also, just for context of the story, we have a SUV with 3 rows and with a 3rd row, I mean. And when we go places and we're all family of 6, Cooper sits in the passenger seat and just for safety. And so again, I just keep giving you glimpses into our world. If you don't know autism, I will just keep giving you glimpses. Cooper needs to sit in the front for lots of reasons. He needs to be, and if I'm going to just say this really quickly because there's 1,200 people watching. If you have read this, can you say you've read it? Can you say your favorite chapter? Could you just type that right now? Like whether it's grief or motherhood, I just would love to know. Tell us what your favorite chapter is. And so Cooper rides in the front seat, and we've just done it that way for a while. And it's just for safety reasons, for lots of reasons. And so I was sitting in the 3rd row with Sawyer, and I was on my phone and I was kind of scrolling, and my whole news feed right now is autism. And in so many ways, I've been sort of avoiding my news feed. I don't know if any of you have. When I scroll, it's just really polarizing, really polar extremes of people. And me, Kate, as a person, when I will tell you this is a personal flaw or something, when people get really extreme, I tend to go inside myself. Like I'm scared, and I've been scolded for that, but I don't want to fight, and I don't want to get beat up, and I'm just scared of it. So I've been avoiding my newsfeed. And so I was scrolling, and some autistic advocate was saying, I did not destroy my family. I did not wreck my family. And Sawyer was sitting next to me, and he goes, quote, no lie. He goes, Mom, did autism wreck our family? And when you hear your children say it, it is so different than scrolling on your phone, right? I have goosebumps. I mean, and I will tell you something just as an aside, and this is a totally different topic. Just step aside with me for 1 second. When the whole George Floyd thing happened in Minneapolis, I live in Minnesota. It happened very close in proximity to where I live, and our whole world stopped. Believe me, we were on lockdown. Everything changed in our world during George Floyd. And our children were completely exposed to what was going on. And truthfully, Sawyer said to me during that time, he said, that man asked for help and no one listened to him. Cooper can't even ask for help. Who would help him? He said that. My little boy said that. And when you hear it, oh my God, I'm like covered in goosebumps. Like when you hear your children say things, it just like changes and puts it in, just polarizes things. And so we're riding in this car and he's like, did Cooper wreck our family? And I couldn't even talk. I mean, I was at a loss for words. And I was like, I did this. I was like, I, and I practiced the pause. And I want to tell you, one of the best things that I learned in the workplace, on social media, as a parent in a marriage, practice the pause. Like write that down. Um, um, you know, if, pause. Think about what's being said. And so I said, I waited for Sawyer to respond. I didn't say anything, and he's like, I don't think it did. He's like, I think it made us better. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And I just kind of said that. And he's like, Mom, he's just my, oh, and then, sorry. Then the best part of the story is, then the next thing he said was, but it's really hard. And so I thought it was really beautiful that a 12-year-old boy who has never known a life without a sibling with a disability, who is upstairs right now wrestling with Cooper, trying to teach Cooper to do sit-ups. They're like upstairs. He's like, I'm going to get him to do 5 sit-ups. We're like, good luck, Sauce. Like, have fun. They're upstairs being silly. But he was like, I don't think it did, but it's really hard. And I just smiled and I was like, it is. It's so hard. And the greatest lesson that I've learned in adulthood, I'm going to be 42 on Friday. The greatest lesson that I have learned of all the things is that 2 things or 3 things or 4 things can be true at once. And I didn't know that. Like, I did not know that naively before I had this, perfectly imperfect boy by anyone's standards. I thought you were either happy or you're sad or you were mad, like you were just one thing. And, Sawyer's like, I don't think it did, but it's hard. And I was like, dude, it is. It's really hard, but it's really great too. Like, it is. The second thing that I wanted to share, and so we were just at our cabin, and when we're there, we go for a family walk every night. And we're able to do that really safely there because it's a dead end road, cabin road. You never see a car. And it's it is enclosed by trees. Cooper doesn't do well in open spaces, truthfully. I don't know if this is a spatial awareness thing, an autism thing, an anxiety thing, but if we get in a wide open space, Cooper will often sit down. And we're like, dude, you need to walk. And he's like, he'll just sit down. But for whatever reason, we're able to get him to walk on this path. And, when we started, and some of you that follow me closely, he would only go to this orange sign. And if you do it once, it becomes gospel. And so it took forever to get him to go farther. Even today, he pointed to the orange sign, which is halfway. And I was like, oh no, we're going to the red fence. So orange sign is halfway, red fence is the whole walk. And it probably takes 20 minutes. I bet if you were fast, you could do it faster. But with Cooper, it takes longer. It takes him a long time. And so it's a big deal for him to go for a walk. It's great. And so we really have worked on walking. And we actually worked on walking in the neighborhood during COVID a lot because we all had time. And so since then we moved, and it's harder where we live now with traffic. And so when we go to the cabin, we're able to go for these walks. And would have been Friday. we went for this walk and we had our golden retriever and our 3-year-old and our 6-year-old and our 12-year-old and our 14-year-old, and our 2 middle kids were like fighting with sticks and climbing trees. It's like you're just the whole time you're like, Cooper Cooper is a skin picker. That's again a nugget of information. Cooper is a skin picker and really hurts his body a lot. It's devastating. And he has a pretty good wound on his leg. And again, here's another autism thing. We didn't even know how bad it was, but we went in the bathroom and I sat down to go to the bathroom and I'm staring at the wall in front of me and there's a towel just covered in blood. And I was like, Jamie, something happened. And I mean, covered. And so I walked out and I was like, Cooper, did you hurt your body? And he goes, ow. And so dressed the wound. So we're on this walk, and if you watched my stories, you saw it. The first thing he did was take that Band-Aid off. He looked at me, he's like, and then he put it in the garbage, which was really cute. I thought that was really cute. And I was like, you little shish kebab, you should not have taken that Band-Aid off, but at least you put it in the garbage. Like he just, and so we had this just like off the walls bananas walk. And honestly, Cooper loves shenanigans. He loves when his siblings are naughty and they were like fighting with sticks and, climbing trees and they were going after him. And he laughs and then he grabs my hand and hides. And it was probably the most perfect night we've had in a really long time. And there was a moment of like 60 seconds when we got to the end where they not Cooper, but the other kids cut through this trail and I stayed with Cooper and kind of rounded the corner. And I had this thought and I'm going to share it with you. And I shared it on Instagram and it brought on some anger and some heat, but I think it's worth sharing because the number one thing that I want to do, I want to start the conversations. I very rarely have the answers, but I want to start the conversation. That's what this book does. And so as I was walking, I was thinking about everyone talking about autism in the news. We have the speech, right? The speech that was made, and we have self-advocates speaking up, and we have parents that are, whatever term you want to use, level 1, more Asperger's type autism, very, very outraged by what was said. And then we have parents of profound children, truthfully thankful that a conversation's been started. We have all these different parts, right? No one's wrong. No one's wrong. We have all these parts, all this noise. And so we're rounding this corner and I am thinking to myself, there's one voice that we don't hear. Whose voice do you think it is? It's Cooper's. It's profound autism. We have parents speaking for profound autism, right? We have parents. And I looked at Cooper and I was like, are you happy? And he laughed and I was like, you have autism. He just looked at me and I said, are you happy with autism? And he just looked at me. And then I said, oh, it's made me cry. I said, if you could talk, would you? Like, if you could start talking, would you take it away? Would you fix it? And he just stared at me and off he walked. But it just got me because there's this whole group of people who aren't wrong that are saying, I wouldn't change my child for the world. And that's awesome. And I'm saying, I'm so glad that autism has entered the chat. I'm so thankful. But the part that we're not hearing is Cooper. And what if he what if he doesn't want to be autistic? What if he wants help? And we don't know. It just like broke me, you guys. I am telling you, it broke me. I had never thought of that before. I had never thought like, what if he wants to be different? Like he wants to be able to fly on a plane. He wants to tell me things and he can't. He wants to grow up. I don't know. It just like, I am telling you guys, it like shattered me. I was like a puddle because there's this very loud group. And I always say when you have something like this, the loudest voices come to the top. And all these opinions matter. They're all wonderful. They're all great. And I'm here for all of them. I haven't actually heard one that's pissed me off yet. Like I'm thankful that, but the one I'm not hearing is Cooper's. And so then the second part of the conversation was, we have all these people saying that autism is a gift and we wouldn't change it shouldn't change it. We shouldn't want to change them. And what if Cooper wants to change it? What if he does? And who am I to tell him that he shouldn't want to? I don't know. I don't have answers to any of this, so please don't be upset with me. I don't have any answers. I just like Carolyn, it's my page. I can say what I want. So hop off. I think I've probably sworn once in 7 years, and I think I just whispered it, and I wanted to. So, but yeah, I just think that's the piece of the conversation that's missing, and I don't know how we get it. Like, how do we get it? I don't know how we get it. But I do think that if Cooper could talk, he would fix it. I do. I really do. I think he wants to be able to speak. So anyhow, the other just sort of profound thing that I, hit me this morning, and I was talking to my friend Adrian about this. Yeah, do children who self-harm want to self-harm? That's a really good one, Jennifer. I will tell you, Cooper does not, I don't believe, wants to hurt his body. And he rips his own toenails off when his anxiety is super bad. I don't think anyone wants to rip their own toenails off. But then someone will argue on here that that's actually not autism, that's anxiety. But I always say Cooper's anxiety, OCD, and autism are just like this. There's no pulling one out. It's so tightly wound in there. And we can treat his anxiety and we can treat his OCD, but it's so tightly wound up with there's no extrapolating it out. Anyhow, but so I was talking to my friend Adrian. Adrian is a co-author. She's this one. And so I was talking to her yesterday, and I had this thought. I just keep having these like deep thoughts, and I'm afraid to share them because every time I do, people start fighting, and I don't like it. Makes me super uncomfortable. But I was one of the areas that I get really uncomfortable. One of the areas that I get really uncomfortable is when people tell me that I shouldn't be sad. And I will die on this hill. This is the hill that you will find my body on. There is so much grief, a really unique grief involved in special needs parenting. But I have encountered numerous people on the journey because they feel free, they feel the need to tell me that they have never been sad about their child's disability. it's a gift and it's wonderful and they wouldn't change it. And, I could go on and on. And for a lot of years, when I wrote my first book and this book is a lot about grief. This is my first book. It's also on clearance on Amazon for $12 if you'd like to get it. They're not reprinting the hardcover, so they're trying to get rid of it. But I talk a lot about grief, and I've had people tell me that I shouldn't be sad. And it wasn't until I sat in my grief did I start to heal. That's just my story. And so I always get super uncomfortable. People will be like, this is amazing. It's the best thing that's ever happened. And I was like, but my child's never spoke and he's ripping his toenails off. And one day I will die and leave him. And I'm grieving and I'm heartbroken. Why am I the only one? Am I doing autism parenting wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? And so I was talking to Adrienne and I was like, you know what? There's no medal given out for the person with the most acceptance. And she was like, that's amazing. And I was like, but it's true. Like, it's not like so-and-so is a better parent than me. I love, and so I'm saying this to the parent that feels sad sometimes. I just want to say this to the parent that feels sad. You are allowed to be sad. You're allowed to not be sad. But I think there's shame given to those that express sadness. I would give my right arm for my son to be able to talk. I want him to go on a date. I want him to go on a sleepover. I want him to learn to drive a car. I want him to go to prom. I want him to go to college. I want him to have a first kiss. I want him to fail a test. I want him to have a job interview. I want him to get married, and I want him to buy a house, and I want to hold a grandbaby. I want my son to have kids. All these things. So I talk a lot about acceptance, and I feel like acceptance is a moving target. I almost describe it as the backpack I carry. And I'm so comfortable in acceptance. Cooper's autistic. He's severe. He's most likely never going to talk. He's going to live with us until he can't live with us anymore for whatever reason. He'll have to go into group home, which is heartbreaking. I can say all these things, right? I'm saying them to you. But I don't think I will ever fully accept. I don't think so. 99%, 99%, but never 100. I'm still going to grieve when all my friends' kids are getting their driver's licenses. It's not fair. Will he be able to go to his high school graduation? Will he know he's graduating? Will he be able to get whatever? I could go on and on. But I just want to say to this parent that maybe just shared in an autism group that they're sad. They're scared. And you've been yelled at for it. It's okay. I'm jealous of those people that don't feel. It'd be a lot easier if I didn't feel. It would be a lot easier. I'm sad all the time. I am. I'm in the secondary wave of grief. It happened when Cooper, I would say, became a teenager, and no one really prepared me for a secondary wave of grief. And I wish they would have, not to scare me, but I just wish that they would have told me that these teenage years dredge up a lot. And so it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry sometimes, and it's okay to cry. It's okay to think, why him and why us? I give you permission. I give you permission. And I'm nobody, but I think I just needed someone to give me permission. I just wish they would have, and just said, it's okay. It's okay. You're human and you're a great mom and you're doing a really good job. And so I just wrote, it's okay to grieve. And I guess if we get to heaven and those people get a sweet because they're better, they've accepted autism better than us. Well, I guess we'll let them have their sweets in heaven. Because I don't know. There's so many feelings in this stuff. Oh my gosh, there's so many feelings. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go up and see my babies. There's a lot of you watching tonight. If you haven't ordered Autism Out Loud, it's on Amazon. I pinned a link. It's all about, so it's from diagnosis through young adulthood. So Jack in the book, he has more of an Asperger-y type autism. He's in a college program. Amos is in between. Cooper has more on the severe end. So we cover all areas of the spectrum, which is why we need to get this book in the hand of every person that's making decisions about autism who doesn't understand it, because this book will teach them. We need to order it. We need to flood it and get it out there. Education, diagnosis, grief, caregiving, motherhood, the future. We have a chapter called, siblings, family, this new normal. But we got to get it. I really think we should get that in the hands of the people making speeches. Well, it doesn't work, Michelle. She said nothing sucks more than someone else telling you not to feel a certain way. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Just like people that aren't sad, like I can't tell them not to be sad. It's like I can't tell them to be sad. We're all ourselves. I had to really learn, though, that I'm a pretty emotional person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I'm pretty emotional. Ask my husband. And so I'm sad sometimes. I'm sad. And today was a hard autism day. But then watching Sawyer and Cooper doing sit-ups made my day way better. It was pretty great. I'm sure I'm going to get just crucified in these comments. I'm sure they're coming, but I want to just speak to my heart. It's okay to grieve. Sawyer is really smart. And what if Cooper doesn't want to be autistic? And can we tell him that he's wrong? I mean, it's just three big questions. So, okay, I'm going to head upstairs. My kids are all off tomorrow. We have no school. So another day. And then I fly to Pennsylvania on Wednesday. Looking forward to anyone coming to see us in Buffalo. I can't wait. Okay. Share this video, buy the book, comment. Thank you. Bye, guys.